Hey, I'm Allison, and this is Realistically Consistent, where we talk about how to build sustainable fitness, nutrition, and mindset habits that actually last even as a busy mom. I'm here to help get you consistent, not perfect, and on your way to feeling like your best self. I'm so excited to start today's episode with you. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Realistically Consistent. Thank you so much for joining me today. And real quick before we dive in, I just would like to ask if you have been listening to this podcast for more than 1 or 2 episodes and this message is really resonating with you. Please, please, please hit subscribe and follow. Not only will you not miss another episode, but it really helps the channel grow and reach more moms, as this is really truly my mission, is just to help moms get out of survival mode and just feel good. Now, today's message that we're going to talk about is more of one of those kind of hard truths. So it has a little bit different of a tone than what my typical podcasts have had, but it is coming from a place of love and coming from a place of truly just wanting the best for you and for all of the moms out there, because it is truly so possible. And so the first truth that I really want to hit you with is that if you feel like you can only have a healthy lifestyle or live a healthy lifestyle when the time is right, that's not a healthy lifestyle. That's just you making better choices when it's more convenient for you. A healthy lifestyle is something you can sustain throughout your entire life. But I want to be really clear here. That looks different at different times in your life. It looks different at different stages in your life. Everybody's version of a healthy lifestyle is completely different from each other's. And hopefully that's what you've taken away if you've been listening to several of these podcast episodes, is that you have to take what works for you and leave the rest. You have to implement what works for you in a way that works for you and fits into your current lifestyle. That's why in so many episodes, we've talked about non-negotiables. We've talked about even different ways of getting your water in, different ways of getting your steps in, right? Because you have to find a way that works for you. Now, we've also talked about the reason why your health is so important, why it's so important to establish a healthy lifestyle always and not just when it's convenient. And one of the metaphors I've used more recently has been, if you were given a car when you were 16 years old and said, okay, well, here's your car for the rest of your life, would you have treated that car differently, knowing that you could never get a replacement for that car again? Maybe you would have put different gas in it. Maybe you would have driven it a little bit easier, nicer, right? Maybe you would have cleaned it out more often. Would you have taken care of it differently? Well, it's the same thing for your body and your mind here. You get one body, one mind for your entire life. This is it. This is what is going to carry you through the rest of your life. Are you caring for it as if that's the case? Or another scenario that I've heard that really resonated too was, if you were to switch bodies with the person that you love most in this world, maybe even your kids, if you were to switch, would you treat that differently? Would you fuel it differently, move it differently, make different choices? Why can't we show up in that way for ourselves? And I get it, it's hard. We are pouring so much of ourselves as moms into so many other people. But how can we be expected to keep giving when there's nothing left for us, right? So again, you've heard me say, yes, I'm a weight loss coach, but this goes so far beyond the weight loss. Today's episode is primarily about, how do you feel in your body? Because honestly, I'm starting to believe that maybe we've been conditioned as a society to have this new normal that we are starting to feel like, okay, yeah, this just kind of like average, not always feeling great, but like whatever, that's normal, and that's actually a version of feeling good. And we all know that our bodies adapt. That's one of the things that we talk about with my clients with weight loss, is that our bodies like to adapt, right? And so I think we forget how good it feels to actually feel good, what actually feeling good feels like when you are taking care of your body. We forget what that feels like, that your body is so adapted to this new feeling and the new feeling of normal / good that you've set for yourself, that you don't even know what you're missing out on. You don't even know how different you would feel if you started drinking water more consistently and moving your body or lifting weights or fueling your body differently. You don't even know what you're missing out on because right now you think that this version is fine, that you feel good right now. Or maybe you wish that you could feel better. But again, this new version, it's like, I know it doesn't feel great, but this is normal, right? No, it's not normal. That's not normal. And what it takes to feel good really isn't that far out of reach. But we have to stop relying on time and motivation to start enforcing those healthy habits because they will become habits. They will feel natural. But you have to give yourself time to get there because they didn't all just fall off in a short period of time either. Now, this is one of the reasons that I believe the health and fitness industry has actually become so saturated. And I think it's a good thing, right? I think that there's always going to be people that need help and support. But I think that it's become so saturated because once somebody finally decides enough is enough, I'm going to take control of my life, of my health, and I'm going to get it back on track. And I don't mean those like gym gurus or people who do crazy amounts of research or, go get all kinds of certifications. I mean, there's so many people out there who have simply pulled themselves out of a bad situation by taking care of their health and prioritizing themselves. And they realize in doing that, oh my gosh, I'm not spending tons of time doing these things. I'm not spending tons of time meal prepping or in the gym or, any of that stuff. And I feel so much better. I want to go help other people. And because we start taking care of ourselves in these ways, we feel stronger, we feel more confident, and something happens chemically in our brains where you start feeling more joy. You start feeling happier. You start feeling more confident. And all of these experiences are like, gosh, so many people are missing out on these feelings. I want to help other people. And I know that that's one of the reasons that I am in what I am in today and stepping into this health and fitness industry. I've met so many other coaches who have very similar stories of enough was enough and they pulled themselves out of a bad situation and they want to help other people do it too because we see how many people are struggling. I see how many moms are in survival mode and just trying to get to bedtime every single day. They don't feed themselves. They're living off of their kids' scraps and barely move their bodies and hate their jobs and all of these other things. If I didn't start taking care of myself 5 years ago when I was still a teacher, if I'd never lifted a weight, I could go so far as to say I probably never would have left my job. I probably never would be living my dream life where I sit today, helping so many other women, building out my own schedule, spending so much more time with my kids, if I never would have picked up that first set of weights. So when I say that, again, so many people do this because you don't even know what you're missing out on. You think that how you feel is fine and it's normal because so many other people are going through it. And yeah, so many other people are going through it. It doesn't mean it's normal. And you have an opportunity to not only lift yourself up, but set a new standard for your kids, for the next generation, so that survival mode isn't even a thing. They know how to take care of themselves because they lived it through you. So that is why I will continue to die on this hill. I am done purely marketing to weight loss. Yeah, weight loss is going to come, but I am so sick of everywhere I turn, people clicking on lose this much pounds in this much time, go take this pill and lose this weight. I don't want my kids for that to ever even need to be a need for them. Let us screw the weight loss industry over and start taking care of our health so that that's not even a thing. So I want to go through a few strategies, things that you can start right now, maybe some mindset shifts, maybe some actual things that you can start to implement right this second, and share some of those things with you. And the first thing I'm going to start with is your time. And I'm going to be really blunt and honest here. You saying that you don't have time or that you are too busy or that now's just not the right time or I'll do it when things aren't so crazy. It's a cop-out. It's an excuse. As much as you don't want to hear it, it is an excuse because we make time for the things that are important for us. You don't have to go to the gym for an hour a day. You don't have to do 4 workouts a week, 5 workouts a week. Heck, you don't even have to do 3. Just pick 2, 1 even. Something's always better than nothing. And I have talked with countless women. I have worked with women in all stages of life. Early on in motherhood, later on in motherhood, their kids are teens, their kids are out of the house. They have a full-time job. They work night shift. They run a full-time business. They're a stay-at-home mom and running a full-time business. I know women who make it work in every single season of life because when it's important to you, you will make it work in your life. So I'm sorry, but I don't have time. That does not fly, especially with me, because I will be the first one to say, listen, I have 3 children, a baby who still wakes up through the night, a puppy who's getting me out of bed first thing in the morning and not really letting me get a full workout in. I am running a full-time business. I am still keeping up with networking groups and seeing my extended family and doing all of the things. So do not tell me that you don't have time because you can make it work. But here's the thing, and I said it earlier in this episode, and I'll say it again. It looks different for everyone. Not everyone wakes up early to get their workout in. Not everyone saves it for nighttime. Not everyone meal plans the same way. Not everyone grocery shops on the same day. It looks different for everyone. You have to make it work for you and your schedule. That's the only way that it's going to be sustainable for you. And I've also talked with so many older women in their 60s, 70s, 80s. One conversation really stands out because she said, I thought I was on top of the world. I thought I was queen. I thought I was just living life to its fullest because I was working my butt off, living on 4 hours of sleep a night and drinking caffeine like it was my job and crushing the market. But then she said in the next breath, but it wasn't worth it. I had no idea. I thought I was hot shit. I had no idea that I was actually destroying my body. And I wish I could take it back. I wish I could have made different decisions. I should have known that I should have just slept. I should have fueled my body. I should have drank more water because now she's on more medications than she can count. She's had more surgeries than she's wanted. She is struggling to get around. She's barely 70. I don't know about you, but that's not the life that I want for myself. Because the choices that you make now determine how you're living your life when you're in your 80s. How you take care of yourself now determines who is taking care of you in your 80s. I don't want anyone having to take care of me when I'm in my 80s. So I'm going to take care of me right now. And that means doing the simple, basic things that we've talked about in so many episodes. So with that, my next tip for you would be, or I guess question for you would be, how much are you taking on that you really don't want to be taking on? How many things do you say yes to when you really want to say no? Now I get it. Again, there are some things that are out of our control. There are some people and some situations where we need to step in. It's the right thing to do to step in and step up, right? Caring for our older loved ones, caring for our children, wanting to be there for them at their school events and things like that. Absolutely. There are things that we can't necessarily always say no to. But is there a way that you can do it that isn't hurting you in the process? Are there other things that you can say no to? You can be there for your kids and not say yes to every single school event. You can be there for the kids and not say yes to coaching, but be on the sidelines every single day, right? What right now can you filter through and say no to or step away from? Say, you know what, there's too much on my plate. I need to step back from this. Because Life is meant to be lived. You get one life and one body. And this life, in the grand scheme of things, is short. In fact, if you live in Ohio, you already know this, at least Northeast Ohio, meteor flew straight over our city, and we could hear it, we could see it. It was really crazy. And honestly, what that just reminded me is how short and precious life really is. I stood there looking at the sky that day thinking, oh my gosh, literally a meteor could come out of the sky and knock us all off this earth tomorrow. You just don't know. You just don't know. And so one of the biggest questions I want you to ask yourself today is, if a meteor came and struck our planet and wiped us all out next week, what changes would you make in your life today if you knew that was going to happen? Could you really reflect on your life and say, yeah, I'm enjoying my life. I was put here to enjoy, to feel good, to feel happy, to be present to myself and my family. Are you making choices right now that you would say, yeah, you know what? I am proud of all the choices that I've made. Or are there things that you would change? If whatever top 2 things just came to your mind, go change them. Go change them right now. Because life is short. Everything is figure outable. And you deserve to live a life where on your deathbed you can look back and say, yeah, I lived my life. I felt joy for my life. And again, I say all this, it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. It doesn't mean you can snap your fingers and everything's going to always feel great. It's not. Part of life is living lessons and learning and making mistakes so that that mistake can teach you what's better for you, right? I still have things that I'm working on. Yes, if a meteor struck, I could say, you know what? I'm really proud of all the choices that I've made. Doesn't mean I'm not struggling with certain things right now. I absolutely am. Doesn't mean I don't have goals. Doesn't mean I'm okay with being wiped out. I want to continue living my life, right? But there's not a whole lot of things I would change right now. Maybe a few things, but not a lot. Life is not always going to be easy. And I think one of the things that sets us back is that it's so easy to feel like a failure, especially the day and age that we live in now, with just so many things in our faces and the highlight reels of everybody else's faces. It's easy to feel like we're failing at things, but we're never failing. Failure is feedback, if you let it be, right? Failure is just telling you, hey, this didn't work in the way that you tried it. Or certain circumstances just made it really difficult and it didn't work this time. But maybe when the circumstances change, it'll work the next time. What can you do in between that, right? And I say all this too. Again, I want to be really realistic with you. I still feel like a failure at things sometimes, and I have to actively remind myself, what's the lesson that I can learn in this? How can I move forward so I'm not holding on to this as a failure, but I'm holding on to it as a lesson? It's still something I have to be intentional with and work my way through. Because again, we're not all perfect. It doesn't always come naturally, but these are the things that help pull you up and pull you into the next better version of yourself, because there's always a better version of you. Always. I think it's so reassuring when I listen to certain podcast episodes of these gurus who have written tons of books and they seem so enlightened and so amazing and like they have it all together. And they'll sit on this podcast and be like, yeah, but I'm still working on this. I still feel like I need to figure this next thing out. I'm still working on being a better human. We're always, always, always going to be still working on being a better human. That's never going to go away. And I think that that's honestly really exciting because it gives you purpose, right? And I think that that's one of the reasons that we were put here on this earth, is to have a purpose and fulfill that purpose. We should feel good while fulfilling that purpose. If your purpose is being a mom, it's amazing. You deserve to feel good while doing it. That's why we have to take care of ourselves too. So I hope this message resonated with you. I hope this message encouraged you to go make some sort of change, no matter how big or how small in your life. What changes can you make? What choices can you start making differently that are going to lead you to feeling better? to lead you to feeling that version that maybe you don't even know what you're missing out on. Maybe you'll be that next person that wants to go help people because you found your way out of it too. And it's also okay to need support in doing that as well. I know I've had support, tons of it. And if you're looking for that support, if it's in a one-on-one version, like with a coach with me, you can apply on my website. If it's with a group and an accountability group, I am so excited. I have some really, really big news coming. If you are thinking you want to be one of the founding members, one of the people to pilot it and help me work through some of the kinks and gets all the benefits that come with that, then please send me a message on Facebook or Instagram and just say pilot member, and I can get you set up with all of that information as well. So with that, thank you again so much for being here, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Realistically Consistent. If today's episode helped you, please hit subscribe and leave a quick rating as it helps more moms find the show. You can visit AllisonHaleyFitness.com for more tools, tips, and ways to stay connected. And just as a quick reminder, I'm here to share general information and encouragement, but this podcast isn't meant to replace professional medical or health advice. Everyone's circumstances are different, so be sure to check in with your trusted healthcare provider before making any big changes. Thanks again for being here, and until next time, keep showing up for yourself one realistic step at a time.